Xbox have been gifting us with some incredible games over the past couple of weeks, especially with Xbox Game Pass. But don't worry, this video is guaranteed to make that backlog even bigger. We have some awesome new sales available in the Xbox store since the start of this week, and there are some absolute bargains, with over half of the games today being less than the price of a cup of coffee. Now, I do host a free Xbox game giveaway every single week on these videos to one lucky subscriber. All you have to do is comment below, and this could be anything to do just relating to Xbox. Congratulations to last week's winner. I do totally agree with you and second that notion, and anyone who hasn't tried Rise Summon Rome needs to right now. Now, with that out of the way, my name is Fletcher and this is Xbox Nation, and let's dive into the insane deals that you can grab right now. I wanted to first mention an indie that most of you have probably never heard of, but it has incredibly positive reviews across both Xbox and other platforms. If you love visually striking indie games, Planet Alpha is an absolute must-play. This is actually a side-scrolling platformer featuring an alien world filled with lush landscapes, breathtaking lighting effects, and mysterious creatures. You will be playing as a stranded explorer who must traverse dangerous environments, solve different puzzles, and just manipulate time just to survive. One of the most unique aspects though of Planet Alpha is the day and night cycle, which you can actually control to solve environmental puzzles and evade different dangers. The platforming mechanics here are very fluid, and the world continuously revolves around you. Planet Alpha really is a hidden gem that deserves so much more attention, and at 80% off you can pick it up for just £1.59, and it's an absolute steal for that price point. Another little indie that definitely goes under the radar is King of the Seas, and this one actually delivers a swashbuckling action RPG adventure set in a procedurally generated pirate world that's brimming with danger, treasure, and of course high seas combat. In this one, you are being framed for your father's murder, and you're thrust into the role of an outlaw captain determined to reclaim your name and uncover the truth. With any RPG, you can of course customize your ship with various different weapons, skills, and hull upgrades, and then navigate a reactive world filled with factions, naval patrols, and ever-changing sea conditions. From ship-to-ship battles to treasure hunts and trade, the game offers a really satisfying gameplay loop of risk and reward. It really is rare to see some good pirate games these days, and at just £3.99, it's a great time to raise the sails and command your own pirate empire. At 80% off and now down to just £6.59, you can dive into an adrenaline-pumping action game and delve into a hive city with Necromunda Hired Gun. This one actually hulls you into the gritty underbelly of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, where lore is bought and sold, and mercenaries really do thrive. As a bounty hunter, you'll be parkouring your way through industrial ruins and neon-lit corridors, while taking down gangs and mutants with an arsenal of different brutal weapons and augmentations. The combat in this one is really fast, bloody, and kinetic, and built around momentum, wall running, and quick savage takedowns. You'll also be able to upgrade your Cyber Mastiff companion, who helps you track and shred enemies, and to be honest, I really love that addition of a supporting character. It's certainly not the most polished game at the market, but its style, pace, and satisfying gunplay give it such a cult appeal, and for the low price point this week, it's really hard not to recommend. This next game is easily the highlight of this week when it comes to the deals, and you have to purchase this without hesitation if you've somehow not dove into this one as of yet. RoboCop Rogue City brings the iconic 80s cyborg lawman back in glorious fashion, with first-person action, sharp writing, and of course some brutal justice. In this one, if you're unfamiliar, you will play again as Alex Murphy, dispensing justice through a mix of explosive firepower, tactical choices, and investigation segments that expand the overall narrative. This Alex Murphy edition that I'm actually highlighting today includes some extra cosmetics, as well as some nice digital art books and so much more, and this really makes it the most complete version of the entire game. With that authentic voice work which we all know and love, callbacks to the original films which is great to see, and also a detailed city environments, it's both a nostalgic love letter and also a competent tutor in its own right. It's now at its lowest price point ever at just £5.99 with a massive 90% off, and this is a fantastic pickup for action fans, and as I said, this is the massive bargain for this week. Now, one game that was actually launched a couple of years back but to little known fanfare was Clash Artifacts of Chaos. It's a real shame though, as this game really does stand out with its surreal art style and deeply unconventional combat system. You basically play as a warrior called Pseudo, a wandering hermit warrior protecting a mysterious creature and a strange mythological world. The combat is very raw and physical, as you can see on screen now, and it also also features a blend of martial arts and customizable fighting stances, all wrapped around a dice-based pre-ritual that actually affects how your fights unfold. The environments are as striking here as the gameplay, as there's tons of twisted forests, alien villages, and just bizarre creatures that lurk around every corner. With exploration, some light RPG mechanics, and a gripping story filled with tons of mystery, this is one of the most original brawlers in recent memory. It sucks that this went so heavily under the radar, but you can grab it this week at 75% off and down to just £3.99. At 75% off, this actually marks the lowest price this week for one of the most rewarding strategy titles in the 40k universe. Warhammer 40k Chaos Gate Demon Hunters is a brutal turn-based tactical RPG that actually places you in the command of the elite Grey Knights chapter of Space Marines. Your task here though is basically to purge the bloom, which is a cosmic plague that's threatening the entire systems. With layered systems like ship upgrades, soldier customization, and in-depth squad tactics, it's a thinking player's game with plenty of challenge. The characterization of the 40k universe is very well executed, and it's certainly one of the biggest differentiators for any of you who are looking for something similar to the XCOM games. The game favors more aggressive tactics as well, and heavily penalizes players who want to play it safe. Vermintide 2 is quite easily one of the best multiplayer co-op games available to this day, and I would say for me personally, it really hits that Left 4 Dead nail on the head, especially with the hordes and the insane and visceral combat. This is a game really built for that co-op online mayhem, where you and up to 3 other friends pick from a group of gritty, battle-hardened heroes and dive headfirst into the action. Each of your characters also feels very unique here, and the way they grow through their careers and loot keeps things very fresh even after dozens of hours. You'll be slashing your way through Skaven, Chaos Warriors, and grotesque bosses in well-designed levels that blend dark fantasy with brutal violence. There is such an excellent amount of replay value on offer alongside that deep progression, and there's also been some solid support since its launch. To me, this is one of the best co-op games available on Xbox, and an absolute bargain at that low price point. I won't lie, this next game was easily one of the worst of this generation so far, only slightly ahead of the scam known as The Day Before, but for its £2.49 price point, it might be worth trying out if you've been on the fence about this one. The Lord of the Rings Gollum did try to offer us a very rare take in this genre by providing us with a character-driven stealth adventure built around one of Tolkien's most complex figures. Of course, you'll play as Gollum, caught between his fractured personality of Smeagol and his darker side, navigating a world filled with danger, deceit, and survival choices. Rather than the large-scale battles like we've seen in games like Shadow of War, this actually focuses on sneaking, climbing, and outsmarting your enemies as you uncover different secrets. The dual personality system did try to add a layer of depth and narrative, letting you shape how Gollum responds to some key moments. It's not a good game, but for a couple of pounds, it's worth experiencing, especially if you're a fan of Tolkien's universe or just want to experience why it was rated so poorly. Quirky, clever, and wonderfully absurd, Duck Detective: The Secret Salami is a short but charming narrative puzzle game where you play as a noir-style duck detective solving a deli-themed mystery. The game looks to combine that point-and-click mechanics with some deduction-based gameplay, tasking you with interrogating different characters, obviously uncovering different clues, and piecing together the truth. The humour here is very sharp but not overbearing, and the writing does a great job at blending parody with genuine intrigue. While the story here is relatively brief, it's tightly paced and full of memorable moments brought to life by its unique art style and expressive voice acting. If you enjoy games like Return to Obra Dinn or Frog Detective, this light-hearted mystery is well worth a pickup, especially at its lowest price yet. VRALLY 4 Ultimate Edition delivers a fast-paced off-road racing experience with an arcade feel, blending rally, hill climb, rallycross, and extreme Kana into a single package, and with the price now only being £2, it's one deal that is so hard to pass up this week. While it may not reach the same sort of depth of sim racers like WRC or Dirt Rally in terms of visual fidelity or even its sim mechanics, its focus on accessibility and speed makes it so perfect for players who just want to get behind the wheel and start drifting through the mud. The Ultimate Edition today also includes some extra vehicles and events, offering such great value for racing fans who want some variety. The visuals are pretty solid even though they're not the best, the environments look very dynamic, and the sense of speed is really thrilling, especially in those high-speed sprints and hill climbs. If you're after a more budget-friendly racer with a bit of an edge and a broader selection of race types, this is a great addition to your Xbox collection. Ravenswatch didn't launch too long ago, and it's a top-down roguelike action game from the developers of Curse of the Dead Gods, and it looks to blend fast-paced combat with a dark fairy tale setting. In this one though, you'll be choosing from a cast of reimagined storybook heroes, like a twisted version of the Pied Piper or a corrupted Red Riding Hood, and then you'll be fighting your way through procedurally generated maps filled with dangerous enemies and challenging boss fights. What makes Ravenswatch just stand out from the crowd though is its very tight gameplay loop, with every single run offering brand new abilities, builds and different upgrades. It also does support up to 4-player co-op, and teamwork becomes crucial during higher difficulty waves. The game is actually still evolving at the moment, with tons of regular updates and improvements, making it such a great choice if you enjoy replayable combat-driven roguelikes. At half price, it's a solid investment for fans of this genre, and I believe this is only the second time that has ever been on sale. For only the second time since its launch, Avowed is finally on sale, and it's worth the hype 100%. Well, to me anyway. Set in the richly detailed world of Eora, this first-person RPG from Obsidian really delivered an immersive mix of exploration, magic, and meaningful choice. You will be delving into ancient ruins, navigating political factions, and shaping your story through deep conversation trees and reactive quests. This week is priced at just £52.49 with a 25% discount, and it's such a great opportunity to dive into one of 2025's standout RPGs so far. Of course, as you can see right now, the combat is very flexible, letting you switch between melee, ranged, and spellcasting on the fly, with companions that actually develop over time and environments that really reward your exploration. Avowed offers such a great fantasy world that's worth losing yourself in. Don't go in though thinking it's similar to Skyrim, as it's more like Obsidian's other game, like the Outer Worlds, especially with its scope. I actually mentioned this next game a couple of weeks ago now, but believe it or not, it's seen a further discount and also for the deluxe edition this time. If you are pondering on this one, you can see right now that this is in your classic arcade Pacman. Mega Tunnel Battle Chomp Champs takes the timeless pellet munching formula and transforms it into a battle royale style multiplayer showdown where up to 64 players will compete across interconnected mazes. The deluxe edition though adds some extra skins, cosmetics and unlockables for those of you who really want to stand out whilst chomping on the competition. The core gameplay is still very easy to grasp, but it is then layered with strategic power-ups, maze invasions and elimination mechanics, and it really makes every single match chaotic and fun and more towards that battle royale formula. It was an unexpected evolution of this legendary title, and I did really enjoy my time with it when it was originally a Google Stadia exclusive. Sea of Stars is one of the best turn-based RPGs on the market currently, and it is inspired by the classics like Chrono Trigger and offers a rich blend of pixel-perfect visuals, smooth combat, and an emotionally resonant story. If you're unfamiliar though, you will basically play as two children of the solstice, combining sun and moon powers to fight back against an ancient evil, travelling across a sprawling world filled with tons of dungeons, puzzles, and of course tons of side quests. The game really stands out though with its modern quality of life touches, including the likes of seamless travel, of course some optional difficulty modifiers, and a combat system that rewards timing and strategy without ever becoming too tedious. The music here is phenomenal and partly composed by the guy behind the Chrono Trigger and the Xenogears music, and it really adds a nostalgic yet fresh atmosphere. With its gorgeous aesthetic and really strong reviews since its launch, this is a fantastic pickup for fans of traditional RPGs, and I really highly recommend it if you enjoyed the likes of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, Crown Trick is a roguelike turn-based dungeon crawler with a very unique twist. Movement and combat are actually tied together in a grid system where everything only moves when you do. It really adds a strong strategic element to every single encounter, and I know you'll be absolutely addicted to this one upon playing it. You basically play as a girl named Elle, navigating through a surreal, ever-shifting nightmarish world armed with magical relics, elemental powers, and an enchanted crown. The combat, as I made you aware already, is very tactical but fast-paced, with environmental combos and enemy abilities that really force you to think ahead like most strategy games. Each one though feels incredibly distinct thanks to a wide variety of procedurally generated rooms, gear and passive upgrades. With its colourful visuals, tight mechanics and rewarding loop, Crown Trick is an ideal pick, especially if you like games like Dead Cells or Hades, and at this price point it's an excellent value with some serious depth. What game are you going to pick up this week in the Xbox Store sale? Again, I really recommend that Robocop deal, as it's so hard to pass up in this week's sale. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed, and if we get past 700 likes, I will give away another game, and it will be Assassin's Creed Shadows. Remember to also subscribe if you're new here and want to keep up to date with all things Xbox, and whilst here, why don't you check out the video on screen now, as I covered the 18 Xbox Game Pass games coming to us this May and June so far.